Let us start this lecture with a thought process that all of we are here to learn, right. Learning is a process, and we should have love for learning. So, I always feel that love for learning lessens the labor pains of learning. Today learning is a very difficult process for all of you, right, because you people are occupied with several other things. And therefore, it is very important you should develop a love for it, and learning is a part and parcel of human life. Let us recall what we learnt in the last lecture. We basically looked at that why we need to go for agriculture as a basis for our growth, right, and why, because like we are having a naturally endowed with the resources which are very conducive and for the agriculture or the farming. And later on we looked at like what are the processes involved in agriculture and how this modern agriculture being implemented as of now, right. And today we will be looking at what are the problems we are facing with the modern farming. And like in 1950s or the 60s, like we are having green revolution, people are very much were gaga about it, and today also some of the intellectuals are very saying that we need to go for second green revolution. Is it really revolution or not, that we will see, and I will put forward, or I will show you some data to it. But let us before that, let us look at what are the problem in the modern agriculture. We use more fertilizers and more pesticide for what? Because more fertilizers will give, the growth will be better, and then production of the crop will be higher, and more pesticide will have to give because the pests are more increasing at a number. Because as a result that we are more profit maniac, we are want to have a more greediness has come to our mind too much, right. And there is a whole world, not only in India, across because of this is what you call materialism. As I told earlier, market materialism makes a man maniac. So, we became maniac, like for profit, maniac for grabbing, all those things are going on in our mind. There is a what you call deterioration of mind power to think which is right, which is wrong, getting swayed away. So, therefore, that is the problem, and then it is thrust upon us, and we are just not thinking about it. And pests and diseases are part and parcel of nature. Keep in mind that, because one person will be relying on another, right, and they balance. And so, also disease is the thing to decay, and then you will be going. So, this is the part of nature. In ideal system, natural balance between predators and pests are to be maintained. So, that each are connected with each other. These are all philosophy what are embedded in our traditional knowledge system, in our ancient wisdom, and which we need to understand. Basic things what we are talking about here, you need to understand the basic laws of nature and then work accordingly, not going against and imbalancing or doing something that balance will be broken. Balance is important, because we cannot really look at only small micromanagement, the whole big picture we need to look at it, and big picture are very order, and then it may be looking like a disorder, but actually as I told that our civilization order in disorder, and that is natural. So, that has to be looked at. So, chemical control, that is why we want to have a control over this diseases and also the pests. So, that last 40 years insecticide use have increased tenfold, while the crop losses from the pest damage have doubled. Losses are increasing and you are increasing that also, right, insecticide. So, one has to look at that why it is so, and as a result the safety of the people. 1,000,000 cases of poisoning by pesticide each year around the world, and up to 20,000 of these results in death, this poisoning because of, and this number may be more, I mean like and deaths occur in tropical countries where chemical pesticides which are banned in Europe and other western countries like USA are still being used in India, right. I mean there are several examples, I am not going to look at it, and you can see, or for example DDT and then some other thing, even urea people are not, but we are using it here in this country. So, and cost of farming increasing at alarming rate, and as a result food prices are also being increased very much, around 300% in last 10 years. And if you look at, we are having a people who are hands to mouth, living like hands to mouth laborers and everything, where they will get the food, because the food price are now is comparable to the global market, and earlier days food was very cheaper in this country. Whenever I visit other country, I feel, oh, we are safe, we are having at least food a common person can get. Today it is not, because of globalization, and right. And problem with the industrial agricultural practice, yeah, I have already discussed. Let me just highlight some of the points. I will be highlighting more again, because I want that some of the things will be repetitive in nature, but keep in mind these are important. We need to understand that, then only we can take corrective step. As I told that monocultures, basically the single kind of crop they use, and that erodes the biodiversity among both plants and animals. It is not only with the plants only, because all are connected. No? So, therefore, that is creating, and if you look at the nature is always multi-layer, or various things, it is not heterogeneous, it is not homogeneous. We are trying to make it homogeneous, because in engineering we do that, but that is not. That is a wrong concept. It is not easier to handle the heterogeneous thing, you make it homogeneous, therefore, you say that no, nature is the other way around. It is your limitation that you are trying to push forward, or the thrust upon the people, but you must understand that nature is not like that. And there is a strength in that. Synthetic chemical fertilizers are being used blatantly, which pollute the soil, not only the soil, water and air, all whatever the environment we are getting spoiled because of this blatant use of chemical fertilizers. I will be showing how it is so. And both environment, and although not only the human health, but also the animal health, plant health, all are being connected. So, soil, which is the soul of infinite lives, right, and that is getting spoiled much faster than it can be replenished. And taking with its land's fertility, the whatever the fertility nutrients the land the soil is having, it is going away, and which are very important. This fertility and nutrients are very important for the growth of the plants, and those things we eat as a food, but those are being getting away. I will be showing you later on like what are the things, and I will also give you data how this most of the civilization got extinguished, got spoiled because of soil quality is going down at that time. We need to keep that, and maybe in the next class I will show you some data. And water is consumed at unsustainable rates in many agricultural areas, because water is being used too much, and it is also helping to take away or leaching out the what you call this fertility and nutrients which you are adding to the soil artificially, and also the natural one, all are going away. So, you are using because of too much use of water. So, effect of pesticides on environment, if you look at chemical pesticides can kill useful insects. There is a lot of microorganism, insects are very useful. Pollination, for pollination we need, but they are not, and if pollination won't be there, then you can't have a food production. You may have very big plants, but you don't have. Nowadays in Western country people are using artificial pollination, like why you will do that, and cost is will be increasing, which aid the pest, leading to the imbalance in nature. Whole mother nature is in imbalance. You are cutting the limbs of and fingers, or if you look at the body, my fingers are being cut, my hand being removed from the mother nature. Mother nature, if you consider it as a body, that is not the way. So therefore you need to look at it, and as I told earlier, artificial chemical can stay in environment in the bodies for a number of years, right. Even if you won't use it, will stay for in your thing for generation to generation, and you cannot really afford to do that, and causing problem for many years. It is not for your generation, it is for the next maybe 5-10 generation will have to suffer because of you have used the chemical fertilizers and which are not good for the health. So therefore we need to understand insect pests are very quickly, or over a fear of breeding cycles, they become resistant to artificial products. They also try to resist the thing and develop hormones and other things, so that they can, because that is the nature. Nature is intelligent, they are working to go. Suppose somebody will try to hit you, you will have to protect yourself, right. Find out ways and means, use your mind, use your body, use your resources, use your power to do that. They are also doing that way, okay, and are no longer controlled by the label of chemicals what we were using earlier days. I will be showing you some data as well. So if you look at fertilizer consumptions, you look at this. In 1960s, we are having fertilizer consumption is very, very low. If you look at this is the color, orange color, that bound is very, very low, million tons, maybe like 1 or 2 million tons, and it is goes on increasing. And so also China, and then we are, because we want to grow at a faster rate than the other people, and that is the bigger problem. But if you look at America, which is a very intelligent people, like they have grown, there is a higher increase from 1960 to maybe 80s, they realize these are not good, and they are almost remaining constant and sometimes going negative, and I do not know the data last maybe 6-7 years, but I am sure that they might have decreased it. So if you look at, we need to do that, we will have to cut off, and then the whole business, they are sending their multinational company to here to swindle us and use us and then spoil. We will be intelligent enough, we should understand this and then do that. So and if you look at, we are as we are using more fertilizers and more pesticides and other things, we are spoiling also the groundwater. I was told, of course, this may not be the correct, but you please check, do not go by any data I am giving, please correct it, check it and then accept it. In some newspaper, this thing I learned that 60% of groundwater in China are not drinkable. In India, you think about it. My guess is around maybe 20 to 25% of the, at least in Kanpur I know there is some area where the water has gone, groundwater has gone bad, deadly bad. So therefore we need to worry about that, because that sustains the life, and if we spoil the groundwater and which are interconnected, how we are going to what you call correct it, or how we are going to replenish, how we will do that? Can you take it out by the pump and again put it? Is it possible? All are connected, like interconnected, right. So how we will take care of that polluted water. So therefore we will have to worry about. And if you look at the fertilizer consumption, nitrogenous, there is a phosphatic type and potassic type, it is all are increasing. In 1991 we are something 80 in lakhs tons, this is in lakhs of tons, 80 lakhs tons, now in 2007 166, and today maybe it will be something 175 or maybe 80, I do not know, okay, you please look at it. So all are increasing. We should decrease it, we should at least stabilize it, because we know it is, they are harmful, but still because our people are illiterate, and then so also the thing, and the people are using advertisement and other thing to what you call lure them for this, for the more production and more profit, as a tool to imbibe them, right, lure them, but all our we are spoiling the health. Let us look at how is the food production related to fertilizer consumptions, right. So, if you look at that, this is I have taken the data from 70 to 2002, it is a little old data, but let us look at the trend. This blue color is fertilizer consumption rate, it is going up, sometimes in 75 it is gone up above the red line, that is corresponding to the million tons of food production. And then if you look at it is food production is lower down at least 95 onwards, and the fertilizer consumption is increasing. And let me tell you, last year I had gone to some nearby village in Kanpur, where people are, and then I inquired with the farmers. I told, what are the consumption? They are saying that we are using almost double the fertilizers what we are using 10 years back for getting the same, tonnage for acre kind of a crop. See, look at what we are doing. That means the soil fertility has gone down and you are adding more and more, and then it will be spoiling, right. So, therefore, the farmer is committing suicide because the cost of farming is increasing at an alarming rate than the what price they can get in the what you call market. As a result, they are in debt. Therefore, government of India is what you call taking away their debt, in the sense giving the what you call subsidies, no, not subsidy, it is maaf kar dete na, like waiving of loans, waiving of the loans, they are waiving of the loans. But that is not the solution. Solution has to be found out looking at what are the causes of it, and then look at fundamentally and solve the problem. And there all of you who are listening to these lectures, and then you will have to come into picture and educate them, and also educate the government about these wrong policies of using these concepts, because we are democracy, we should do that. And the growth is, I mean, we are all talking about the green revolutions and other thing. We want to have another green revolution. People are talking about genetically modified crops, and I am afraid one should not venture to that. Of course, there are several reasons, I will be not talking about why you need to, but you will have to, if you are interested, get into that and find it out yourself. So, the growth rate of the crop production, let us look at what happened in our the green revolution. So, let us look at that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this diagram for the wheat. We are talking about pre-green revolution, something 1951 to 1968. We are having something 37 is the tons of this. So, this I have taken the data from the draft of 12 plan document, Delhi Planning Commission, and 2013, right. So, let us say this is the percentage what you are having, then it has been decreased in the green revolution period 69 to 81, okay. And then it is again little bit increase up and then going down and then down again this thing, then again people are increasing because of in the 7th plan, and that is true with, if you look at this point for the rice, for the wheat, and then pulses, for oil seeds. Of course, oil seed has a little bit gone up, I mean corresponding to this 1951 and in the today kind of today means 11 and 12, but wheat and rice and pulses it is lower than that what it was there in this thing. So, therefore, you can judge from yourself, and this data I have taken from this thing, that look, this is a myth that we are having a green revolution, okay, because the crop we are putting lot of pesticide, lot of fertilizer and this thing, but we are not growing. I mean, of course, there is a various fluctuation depending upon your what you call your climates, and there is depending upon other parameters that is there. So, one has to look at data and analyze it, and then only we can say that look, there is a green revolution. And beside this we are paying price for the what? For this use of these chemicals, fertilizer, pesticide, spoiling soil, air and other thing. We will be talking about what are the problems of chemical fertilizer. Let us understand that. And there is a micronutrient imbalance because of utilizing the chemical fertilizers. Because we know that chemical fertilizers contain nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, which are micronutrients. These are the micronutrients you can think of. And excess use of fertilizers during the farming causes micronutrient imbalance, because the soil you are giving artificial. If you are giving artificial, soil will be imbalanced. Maybe you are adding more than what is required. So, excess of anything is bad, right? You need to know that what are the things. And there will be also imbalance because of root will be taking, and then it will be not taking all the thing, it will be remaining. I will be talking about later on about like root, how they take and what will be the size of roots if we use chemical fertilizer, if we use natural farming, all those things I will be talking about little bit later on, particularly when I will go to the natural farming. Excess use of fertilizer affect the soil fertility adversely, and also the productivity, as I told just now that with my own experience talking with the farmers nearby the Kanpur area. They are saying they are using large number of large amount of fertilizer for the same amount of crop production in the same land, right, over the years. And that is true, that you can see. I mean, you can ask anybody, and you are having also data nowadays, internet you can get the data, and maybe from reliable source, because the internet one has to be careful about data, right. You can go to the government sources, some other things, then you can find it out what are the consumptions. I have shown you already that. So, there is a nitrate pollution, like excess nitrogenous fertilizers leach deep into the soil, because you are using a lot of water also, irrigation, like, and there is a groundwater you are using the pump, power, right, electricity, and then diesel, and the lift irrigation system has now come up, right, and you just press a button and then water will be spread over this thing. So, and it is sometimes I have seen, at least in the nearby Kanpur area, that is they use a lot of water unnecessarily, and that can contaminate the groundwater also, and that is happening in lot of areas, and other water bodies nearby is being spoiled by the nitrous fertilizer. And if the concentration of nitrate in the drinking water exceeds 25 milligram per liters, it affects mortality rate and the low weight of the newborn babies, which is basically these low weight, another thing known as a blue baby syndromes, right, and which is showing. I will show you a diagram maybe next slides, that and blue baby syndrome refers to at least two situations. One is cyanotic heart, means there will be arteries which will be big thicker, and then there will be thinner, that problem will be there. And this methemoglobinemia, that means like anemia, like blood will be less, and then now it will be little bit different than that. So, this causes a problem in the blood itself. So, you can look at this term, I am not sure about that, but you look at that. So, what is that? I mean, this is causing problem which will be with the baby itself, then where you will go, right. So, these are very serious problem of the blue baby syndromes. And there is another problem which come eutrophication. Eutrophication basically when you use excess fertilizer, that can pass to the nearby water bodies. Okay. And as a result, there will be over nourishments in this pond water bodies, and which is known as eutrophication, because the if overnourishment will be there, then what will happen, that the algae, there will be lot of growth in algae at the faster rate, and then they will grow very rapidly, right, and then again they will die, and then as a result, because their life is short, and they die and pollute the water, affecting the aquatic life adversely. That you might have seen that in your observation, if you are having good observation. See, the cause is this one. So, therefore, this causes, and that is the problem. If you look at this pesticide, there are two kinds of pesticide people use. First generation pesticide use sulfur, arsenic, lead and mercury to kill pests. Look at, these are all dangerous elements, one should avoid it, but we are using. The second generation, of course, the DDT, what is dichlordiphenyl trichloroethene, used to kill pests, and these pesticides are organic nature of course, but pesticides protect our crop from severe losses due to pest, but they have several side effects, you can think of, there are several side effects, it should not be used as such. And side effects of pesticide, as I told, that basically that of non-target organisms. Suppose you want to kill X, but now you will be killing Y, Z and other things, and which are beneficial. So, several insecticide kill not only the target space, but also the several beneficial and organism which are not of target. And as I told that after use this pest several times, the people those are also living organism, they try to resist, and certain pests, of course certain things may not resist properly, but certain pests that could manage to survive became highly resistant to all kinds of pesticides, and these pests are called as super pest, like Superman, they became super pests. So, and biomagnifications is another thing, most pesticide non biodegradable, right, it is not, it cannot be degraded by the soil or other things. So, get into food chain which is known as bioaccumulation, it will getting accumulated, and these pesticides in bioaccumulation form are harmful to the human beings, and as I told, it will remain for your body chain, food chain for several times, and also in your own body, right, and it will be transmitted various forms. And surface and groundwater pollution, like toxicity to aquatic wildlife and human through drinking waters, right, all those things. Risk of cancers, like pesticide enhances the risk of getting cancer in two ways. It acts as a carcinogen also, and it indirectly spoils the immune system. You might be aware there is a train known as cancer train, which is originated from Punjab. You are aware, all of you? There is a train, all cancer patients will be coming, that is why people call it cancer, because they in Punjab, Haryana region, they are using these pesticides and fertilizers to larger extent. They can say the rice, what you call wheat bowl or the food bowl of India, but they are really spoiling their own health and giving us food, and that is also not of good quality. So, I will stop over here and we will be looking at the what you call disadvantages or the using this modern farming in the next lecture, and later on I will tell about like what is the quality of food we are using, and then we will be looking at basically why we need to go for the ancient technology for the agriculture. Thank you very much.